Hello guys, welcome to what is going to be my plant collection update video, declutter-ish video, and then kind of after declutter video. So you're going to see some footage which I had originally planned to put in a different video. But then the footage got so long that I was like, am I trying to put out a feature-length film of this stuff? Like, no, let's just make it its own video. So for those of you who love to hear about my plants, you're about to hear about my plants. So I'm just going to let Hailey from weeks and weeks and weeks ago take the reins. I'm starting with plants because I want to give myself time to rehome the ones that I'm not going to keep. Okay, you guys have been asking for a plant update as well. I have decluttered a lot of plants. I've had plants die off. I've had plants go dormant that have decided to still not come back yet. The weather in Melbourne is funny. And look, I had so many plants, sometimes I don't know what I had and what is now gone. So this is just, I'm going to show you what I have now. I'm going to show you what I'm choosing to get rid of and what I'm choosing to keep. I have to get rid of as much as I can because I need to leave my other plants with Mum. Moving to Western Australia, and there's a few other states in Australia that do this. They have really, really tough, biosecurity laws, and it's basically if you want to bring a plant in from another state, has to go through quarantine, and I'm not going to go through that process. It costs money. The plants can die. I've got some expensive plants here. I don't want them to die. I would prefer to just downsize, keep the ones that are really, really important to me that would be difficult for me to replace, and try to just like hope and pray that Mum can look after them until I can get back to look after them myself. So I'm starting in the window. I love this plant. This is a natal ivy and it's beautiful. I bought it on a whim at Collector's Corner, I think it was. And it grows like a weed because it is. It's a weed. If you ever see this, don't plant it in your garden. That would be a horrible mistake because you will never be able to control it. Keep it in a pot. Keep it in a pot inside with good light and you will get this beautiful pink, white and green baby. I've taken so many cuttings off this. And oh, look at this. It's just spat out this like completely white trail. Oh, I love this plant. I am going to rehome it though. I've asked Madeline if she would like it. She said yes. This is my micans. This is what a micans looks like when you light stress it. It stays kind of pink. Also, it has had some underwatering, so, you know, there's that. I will say this plant doesn't actually like being where it is at. It's constantly getting a draft. It gets like uneven amounts of light. It's not in a happy spot. I don't really want to get rid of it. A micans is not difficult to replace, but I quite like this one. I'm just going to see if potentially I can move it to another area of the house where it will do better, not be such a philodendron princess, and maybe I'll get to keep it. This, oh, is it a Piper crocatum? Listen, this plant fucking hates me. Over winter, it just lost its shit. There is a really good chance that it's dying and I won't be able to bring it back. So there's that. This is a Cebu Blue. I have two of these. I kind of don't want to get rid of this one or my other one because they are quite different. So this one's quite green. I'll take you over here and I'll show you my other one. This one's very blue. I don't know if you'll really be able to see, but like it's got this like hazy blue tone to it. This is my favorite, and this is the one that I've had the longest, and I kind of just want to keep both because I want to see what they do over the years. Anyway, there's that. This is, oh God, what are they called? Variegated chain of hearts. I might get rid of this one. Honestly, over winter, it dropped everything, like everything. And then it was like, okay, we grow again. So that's what it's doing there. It's not happy. If I was keeping this, I would chop it right back and start to let it do its thing. But I think maybe I will just get rid of it. I don't want to though. I love it. I don't know. It's a maybe. My chain of turtles. So we had 2 of these. Mum and I both got one. It's in this really cute pot. I'm not getting rid of this. Mum killed hers, which means there's a really good chance she will kill mine. Risky business, but I just love this. I love this plant. I love the pot it's in, although it would need to be repotted. It's kind of going a bit nutso with new growth at the moment, and this plant brings me a lot of joy. I don't want to get rid of it. Variegated epipremnum pinnatum, I believe. I'm not going to get rid of this either, I don't think. It was hard for me to get, and I liked the splashy and chunky variegation on this, so I just don't really want to get rid of it because I don't know how hard it would be for me to get one with that same pattern. Down here we have everything that hates me, except these guys. These guys love me. This is a, here we go. It's a not a philodendron. Come on, what's the word? A begonia. There we go. A begonia medora. Beautiful plant. I cut this back heavily just before autumn because it was growing nuts, and it just stayed small and did its thing. It's starting to come back now with new growth. I probably will get rid of this one. This is a rubber tree. Gosh, she's dusty. I love this. It's a standard. It's been dormant, but it is starting to come back. I'm going to get rid of that one because it's going to get huge and giant like this one. It breaks my heart. I don't want to get rid of this. I love this plant so much. Mine's like a nice big standard. I am going to get rid of it because it's just going to continue to grow. I can't leave Mum with 100 fucking houseplants to look after. So, yep, I'm sad. This is its newest leaf, as you can tell by the glossiness. And this is one that's just about to come and say hello to the world. I love it. I'm sad. I don't even want to talk about it. This is another one which just lost its shit throughout winter. Main reason why, Freya kept knocking it over for some reason. I don't know. This plant took a beating in winter. Look, these guys were pretty much on par with each other, leaf-wise. And then this one was just like, no, ma'am, I've had enough of your shit. So, it's coming back. I don't know. I don't think I'm even going to be able to rehome a plant like this. Like, nobody is going to want it. So I don't know. But it can't stay. I might, look, I have like an auntie who might be like, yep, I'll give it a go, I'll rehome it. This bloody thing, it is a Cordiaeum croton. These are great. This leaf is hanging on, like, listen. These are really sexy plants, okay? They're really colourful, they're beautiful, they're wonderful. This thing has had spider mites since the day I got it, and I cannot get rid of them. So there's that. I'm thinking what I might do, you might notice there's like a whole new plant growing down here. I think I might just cut this bitch off and then treat it again. I find what's happening is like, it's like the spider mites are getting up in this part. You can probably see it's quite textured. And they like hide in there. It's really hard to like get in there properly and kill all of the things. They hide well on this plant essentially. But funny thing is, like, they don't move to other plants. It's just this one. So I'm kind of like, again, I don't know what to do with it. I wouldn't give anyone a plant with spider mites, because if you don't know how to deal with it and get rid of them, like, it will destroy your whole plant life. So I don't know, I may actually throw this one in the bin after I treat it again for the 50 millionth fucking time. Here we have a green shield. It's an alocasia green shield. This is actually done quite well in this spot. This, you can see how it's like stayed really like short and stubby. That's because it's getting like an absolute boatload of light, and it doesn't feel the need to grow towards the light. You can probably also tell by the fact that it just keeps putting out new little baby shoots. There's actually 4 plants in there. There's mum. So there's 3 that you can see have like sprouted, and then there's another one right here coming up. I love this plant. I want to keep it, but I can't. I will get rid of it. This was a variegated elephant's ears, which it went dormant, and it appears to not now want to be variegated. Oh, although the main plant, so this is the main plant which hasn't come back yet. That is the part that was variegated. It's not guaranteed to put out variegated bulbs, so there we go. But there's genuinely like 5 new plants in there. I'll get rid of that one as well, just because I need to keep as few as I possibly can. Let's look up here at mostly things that I probably will refuse to get rid of. I have my Monstera Thai Constellation up here, which, you know, everything's just starting to come out of dormancy, so it's very interesting to see them growing again. And that's probably why I haven't done an update, because nothing grew through, you know, autumn and winter. And also they're slow to kick off again this year, because the weather's been so weird. Like, I've had minimal growth through spring and stuff's only really like just sort of starting to come back now. I'm gonna keep that. I have a it's one of these. What's it called? Syngonium Fantasy. This one's reverted though, which is interesting. I'll probably get rid of that. I have a lot of them because I cut back like the mother plant, and I'll probably just keep this one in particular I really adore. Then I have my, oh, you look like you might need a water. That's because you put out a new leaf, you beautiful bitch. Up the back there, the green and white one, that is my Monstera alboborgiana. I love that plant. I'm not getting rid of it. Pry it out of my cold dead hands. I don't fucking care. This here is, what were you called? Oh, I can't remember. Fuck, man, look at that leaf. Okay, I cannot remember the Pinna. Is it in the Monstera family? I think it was. Pinnapartita, I think they're called. Whatever. I had this in this cabinet, right? And it just refused to do anything. It just grew like this long trail thing, and it was like, fuck you, bitch, I'm not growing a single leaf. So I took it out. I repotted it. I gave it a tiny little stick, right? And then it was like, oh my God, I fucking love my new life. It put out this gigantic beast of a leaf. I feel like to really like show you, like, So that was its first leaf that it put out after I took it out of the cabinet, repotted it, gave it the tiniest little like toothpick of a pole ever. Not only is it putting out a new leaf, it is putting out new nodes of growth as well. I would like to keep this if I can, because I've hated it for so long, and now I feel like we're friends again. This is, it's a Monstera Siltepecana El Salvador. That's a Peru. There we go. Okay, so this is a Monstera Peru, this big baby, and this is an El Salvador. I love it. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. I also have some standard, I think somewhere in there's some standard Siltepecana cuttings, or maybe in there. I don't know. They're very hard to tell apart. The El Salvador gets big, but you need to grow them in they need to be grown in a certain way to really see like the mature leaf, and I'm not growing them in that way. So I'm not sure, like shit's got mixed up with cuttings. Here I have a Scindapsus exotica. I don't want to get rid of it. It's one of the prettiest specimens of exotica I've ever seen. It's growing beautifully. I want to keep that. Let's go into the cabinet and talk about some sad things and some wonderful things. This is my variegated philodendron micans. I'm not getting rid of it. I had this in one of my little domes down here and it outgrew it, and I popped it in this cabinet when I felt like the time was right. And you can see, like, you know, this guy, she can come off. I left the leaves on until they completely lost all of their color, just because. And it started to grow, and I was like, okay, fingers crossed, please don't die, because it dropped a lot of its leaves, as you can see. A lot of, because it was in a like hyper like humid environment, it just grew like water roots all over the place, and it was just like thriving, but it got too big. And it really needed a repot desperately. So I was like, okay, it's now or never. And it started to grow again from the main stem, but then it just did this. And it was just like, this is what we're doing now. Okay, great. So it's going. I'm not getting rid of it. Please don't die. This is dead. Dead. It is, here we go. It's a philodendron. Oof. No, I can't remember the name of it. I can't remember. Anyway, dead. I don't know why it died. It just like gave up on life. This was just a standard chain of hearts cutting that Madeline gave me, and it was doing great. I actually had it outside in a tiny little greenhouse, and it was growing. It was like, yeah, I like it out here. One hot day, completely fried everything in that, in the greenhouse. So I cleared it out, and that's the end of that story. This is an alocasia of some description that has not come back out of dormancy. I have a philodendron lemon twist here, which, oh, that's a dead leaf. Let's do a little cleanup. There we go. Let's get that out of there. Rubbish desk. I'm getting rid of this plant. I've never loved it. It's growing fine. I don't love it. Oh dear, let's put that in there. I know whatever this was, at some stage, it was big enough to warrant having a stick, but they go dormant when they get cold, so there's that. This is a philodendron gigas, one of my absolute favorite plants. Now, if you're worried that this was my original philodendron gigas, worry no longer. That is over there doing its thing graciously. This was a cutting which was doing great by the window and just like love and life. One of the only plants over there that friggin' loved life. Freya knocked it over, broke it, lost the leaves. So sad. I don't know what I'm doing with that yet. Down here we have a whole bunch of things. I'm actually going to start pulling some out now. So these are just Syngonium fantasy cuttings that I've had like growing in the cabinet. Sometimes it's really fun to grow cuttings. I enjoy it. It makes me happy to see the little baby plants grow. I'm not keeping any of them because this one's reverted. Because I just want to keep one. This one is stunning. I love it. I bet it came from that one. This is like my pride and joy. I love this plant. I'm keeping it. So all of those guys can go. I don't need to keep them. I have a whole bunch of anthuriums, which you guys know I love them. I think I need to learn how to feed them properly. I think like, because, like, at first I was like, oh, we've got pests in here. It's not pests, it's some sort of deficiency, but I'm not super, like, familiar on what I need to feed them. So that's a job for me to learn and teach Mum. This is an alocasia that has not come out of dormancy yet. It will do it when it's ready. This is a tiny little anthurium that I don't know if they go dormant. I assume they can. I have read that they can. And it's deciding to come back. This is, did I mark this? Yes, this is an anthurium radicans. This is a really cool plant, but it just kind of struggled and it was just never happy. So I changed its potting medium. I put it in a smaller pot to control how much water it's getting, and it decided, let's not grow from the main plant, which is quite substantial here. Let's just grow a whole new fucking little plant. So, you know, whatever you want to do, dude, you make yourself happy. You clearly are. This is an alocasia. Ooh, the door was slamming. Ooh, lemon lime? Or is it, no, I feel like, I can't remember. Anyway, it's something to do with like lime or lemon or something. This thing is bright and beautiful and wonderful, and I don't want to get rid of it because it was actually kind of difficult for me to find, but I don't know. I love my alocasia so much. I'm crying. I'm so sad. Another alocasia that's just like, I will tell you what I am when I decide to grow back. Look, this is my mistake. I didn't mark a lot of my alocasias and write down what they were. So a lot of them are dormant and I have no clue. And it's like a surprise. This is my Scindapsus Silvery Ann, I believe it's called. It's beautiful. I love it. They're ready for a water. I'm keeping it because it was quite difficult for me to find. I had to buy it as a tiny little cutting, and then I spent months and months agonizing over it, and now it does things like this for me, which is, I mean, you're fucking beautiful. You're beautiful. This is a twin-headed crystallinum, which is a little fussy. Dropped all of its leaves, but is also sort of showing signs of growth. So I don't know what it's doing. I don't know. Who knows? Okay, let's go down here. You guys know I love my alocasias. This is a alocasia zebrina. This guy was variegated when I got it and has decided it doesn't want to be, but that's fine. It's also not grown any little babies for me or anything like that. It's kind of held on with this one leaf for a long time. I believe it is technically in a dormancy period because it hasn't grown for a long time. It's just like, look, I'm taking a nap. I'll be back. This is my green velvet, which I've had for quite a few years, and I will not get rid of it. This is not a difficult plant for me to replace, but I am exceptionally proud of this plant. I'm not getting rid of it. It's got a whole bunch of babies in there. They're just like, yeah, whatevs. This is a Monstera silcipica. No? Oh, I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, it's here. I like this plant. I would like to keep it because like I really want to grow it up like a really big pole and just let it like do its mature, beautiful thing. But also I'm worried about the amount of plants that I'm trying to keep right now. Back here, I have a really nice big anthurium, which I'm going to keep. It's doing its thing. This is my, is it something erecta? Yeah, I know, it sounds horrible. It went dormant, all of the things fell off, and then it literally, in the space of about a week, it started to grow this thing, and it just grew and grew and grew and grew and grew. And there's that. It's not ready to grow leaves yet. I think I need to feed it. Back here, I have some creepy crawlers. I'm going to give one of these to Madeline. I'm going to keep one for myself. Madeline expressed some interest in... She was like, it's kind of cool. And I'm like, dude, I have like 2. One that I took cuttings from. She's like, I might kill it. I'm like, then you kill it. It is what it is. Don't you worry. Those plants, look, for me, they've never loved me, but they're silently growing in places where I can't see them. It's like, I'm just going to grow quietly back here. I might try to even like trail this up here or something before I go. I do like it. It's a cool plant. So there's that. More anthuriums up here. I shouldn't keep them all, but maybe I will. This is an anthurium, an alocasia that is dormant. This is... what's it called? It's a form of begonia. I really love it. The rest of my plant died off. And I took a cutting from it. It just, I don't know, it just shut itself one day. I don't want to get rid of it. I'm not going to lie. It's easy to replace. I probably will get rid of it, but whatever. And in here, I actually have, can you see? It's like, it's the baby. Trust me, that's still alive. Surprisingly, it's actually this. It's a baby version of that. So I don't know. I can't sell a plant like that. It might be difficult for me to rehome a plant like that. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I think if it goes to anyone, it will go to my auntie, because she's, you know, probably the only person who would be able to look after it that I know of anyway. There's an alocasia here that's just like, I don't know, it just fucking hates me. It keeps putting out these it's a, what is this? It's a, oh, I can't remember the name. It's like this, but slightly different in its shape. It just keeps putting out these pathetic leaves. Probably needs a feed. I think a lot of things would need a feed. We talked about the Monstera gigas. I am keeping that. Over here, where do we start? Let's start down here. These are just some pothos cuttings. Nothing special. That's fine. I can pot them up. This is my Anthurium warocquianum. She's... oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, what happened? Look, I feel like that it's time for this plant to come out of the dome. But I'm scared she's going to die. I'm scared she's going to die. I love this plant so much. She's put out, you know, some little babies, and she's, oh, God, I don't want to leave this plant. There's so many of my plants I don't want to leave. I'm annoyed at myself. That's my fault. I've done that. Okay, whatever. Pop you to the side. This is a begonia. Oh, what are you called? It's a trippy plant. It's so cool. Amphioxus. It's a begonia amphioxus, and I just need to have a little bitch and complain. I cut off my nails because, okay, one, I had like 3 that were broken, and I didn't really have time to maintain them. And I thought, since I'm moving, like, I'm going to be using my hands a lot. I'm going to be packing, like, it's kind of a recipe for disaster. Like, if I break one in the wrong way, I can hurt myself. So I cut them off. I cannot type. I tried to type in begonia and it came up as like vegetables. What is happening with my life? I'm annoyed. Okay, so this plant, I'm keeping it. I nearly killed it and then managed to bring it back from the brink of death. I had it in the cabinet just on its own. Didn't like it. No, ma'am. It likes to be in like a really, you know, humid, warm environment. And I can't maintain that in the cabinet year round. So in the eggs, it's great. I need eggs like this, but I need them like 3 or 4 times the size so I can let them get a bit bigger rather than just constantly chopping it back. Anyway, there's that. This here, another one I nearly killed by keeping in the cabinet. And as soon as I put it in an egg, it was like, hallelujah, the bad bitch is back. So this is called, I'm not familiar with this plant, Medinilla Gregory Harimbali. Hambali? Okay, look, this was sort of like a part of like a, you know, a group of plants that I purchased, and I was not experienced with it, and I don't, like, I know nothing about it, and it came from Queensland, so it's no surprise it doesn't like Melbourne or my stupid cabinet, but it sure as fuck loves the egg, and I don't want to get rid of it because it's fucking beautiful. Look at the leaves. Like, I just feel like the leaves are majestic. Freya's trying to get her little toy. She's like, hey, there's a tiny tennis ball under here. Can I have it? Anyway, so there's that. I'm keeping this plant. I just have to teach Mum how to look after it. Or I just, see, right now I'm having this thought of, should I just put these plants in quarantine and have them shipped up to me? Because I don't need to put them in quarantine to bring them back to Melbourne. I just need to put them in quarantine to take them up there. Oh, God. Things that I do know about putting plants through quarantine is it's not exceptionally expensive. It does add up when you're doing it for a lot of plants, obviously. Oh God, let's not kill the baby here. But also you can get discounts for doing, like, you know, multiple plants. So it's not completely, like, you know, out of the question that it would be something that I could do. The problem with it is, and this is where it, like, scares me, usually what would happen is you either send the plant to them bare rooted, which means you have to wash off all of the soil and then send it to them, and then they, like, treat it with chemicals and all of this stuff to make sure there's no pests on them, and they keep them for a certain amount of time, and then they have them ready for you and you can pick them up. Or you send them in the soil and they will clean them, but I believe that comes with, like, extra charges. Now, the problem is, obviously, if you are taking a plant out of its soil and stressing it with chemicals, they can die. I don't want them to die. I don't want to pay the money and then find out stuff died. So that's my issue. But also I'm worried because I know that, like, these guys in particular, I'm going to show you a few others in a second. Like, I know they're really fucking temperamental. And, like, with the slightest overwatering or underwatering, they chuck an absolute tantrum and they can die in the space, or they can get root rot, which is, you know, basically on the way to death in the space of a few days, especially with our weird climate at the moment. So I don't know what to do about my plants. I don't know. In here I have anthurium seedlings. They're not going to survive. I know they're not. I'm not even going to bother showing them to you. There's no way Mum's going to be able to, like, I'm sad. This is my, this is where we start getting into, like, temperamental plants. And if you do, like, if you look at them strange, they're like, fuck you, I'm leaving. And since I can't grow legs and walk out the door, I'm just going to die right here in the pot. This is a variegated Monstera Adansonii. There we go. Got it. And you can see this was underwatering. This was actually overwatering, which has dried out. And then we've been okay for a while. But now when it's doing this, putting out these progressively smaller and smaller leaves, it means it wants to go on a pole. It wants to grow up and away. How do I do that? How do I make space for that in the house? And also tell Mum, do not ever fucking overwater it, but also do not ever fucking underwater it, and do not even look at it strangely because she will hate you forever. This here is a plant that I hate. It's a philodendron silver cloud. Again, this came as like a bundle of plants, and Oh, we're stuck. We're stuck. You're hugging me. Came as a bundle of plants. Never wanted to grow for me. Until now, to be fair. Like, that's the first new leaf it's put out, and it's just like, no, I'm getting rid of it. I don't want to deal with it. Mum definitely doesn't want to deal with it. So, goodbye. This here. This is my Monstera aurea. This is another one. Overwater it, and it will absolutely chuck a complete and utter tantrum. Underwater it, you can tell when this needs a water. The leaves start to curl a bit like this, and then you just water it, and you make sure like it's drained well, and then it's perfectly happy. But it is so easy to overwater. Like, I watered it once and then didn't let it drain for like the exact 15 minutes that it requires. I'm being sarcastic, but you kind of get where I'm saying. And a little bit of water sat in the bottom here, and it was like, nope, that's too much water, and I am going to die a slow and painful death right in front of your eyes. So that's where that happened. Again, I don't want to leave this. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, moving on to this, which is being very joyful for me at the moment. This is a pothos. Oh, we've got Snow Queen, and we've got, oh God, remembering the names. What are you? Mandula. It's a mandula. Now, mandulas do typically grow these nice big leaves. And the difference between a Snow Queen and a mandula is a Snow Queen has white on the outside and green on the inside, and a mandula has white on the inside and green on the outside. This is a really beautiful leaf. You know, you've got the beautiful white color, the bright, rich green, and then you've got that sort of tricolor thing going on. There's a little bit of speckling. It's stunning. And it's putting out these beautiful big leaves. And I would say I did have this in the cabinet. And ever since I moved it to this spot, it's just sort of been happier and happier, which is really nice. Whereas previously, it was like getting overwatered and stuff like that. Or yes, definitely overwatered. I was giving it more water than it could handle. If you ever notice, like on a plant, that you have black spotting in the center of the leaf, or like it starts inside the leaf, that typically means it's been overwatered, and you might have a little bit of root rot in the roots. Whereas if it starts to go brown at the edges, that most likely means it's been underwatered. It's not like a hard and solid rule, but it's like, it's a really good starting point, basically. This is my, we literally just talked about this, my pothos Cebu Blue. I love this plant, and it's starting, that is the beginning of fenestrations. So these plants, when they start to mature, they will fenestrate, which means they get lines in them, like kind of like the monsteras up here. You can see the lines in them. So that's like a natural thing that the plant does. And when I saw this leaf come out, I was like, ooh, somebody's starting to mature. I should pop you on a poll. And then this leaf came out, and I was like, I'm moving, and I'm not going to get to experience what you're about to do, what you are like designed to do as a plant, what your job is to grow through the rooftops or the treetops and fenestrate and create little lines for the sun to filter through to the smaller leaves behind, like below you. And I'm sad. Making this video is actually making me think I should just put some of my plants in quarantine. I'm not even joking. Okay, moving on. This is an Amydrium Zipelianum, I believe it's called. This is actually doing pretty well. This is like, you know, she wants to grow in subtropical temperatures, but it just grows up here on my bookshelf, and she's all right. I think it needs a feed because it started dropping a couple of leaves. It's going to drop this one next. You can tell by the yellow stem. I might just cut it back and I don't know, see where we go from there. My beautiful pothos, they're called an epipremnum. This is a neon. It's beautiful, it's full, it's growing, it's lush. I'm going to talk to Mum about this. I believe Mum really loves this plant. So my idea was that I would get rid of it. But I don't think Mum is really going to be too happy about that because I know she loves it. She'll probably be like, no, I want to keep it. But I know that this is easy for me to replace in the future. Not this size, obviously. That would set me back a goddamn pretty penny, but I could grow one over many, many years. So yeah, there's that. Up the top here, we have two of, guys, I think these were like my first ever alocasias. We have the dragon scale. Absolutely beautiful. I love this plant. I'm not getting rid of it. I'm not. Easy to replace, but just an absolute precious gem. And then we have the green velvet, I believe it's called. Also a precious gem. I love them. They're absolutely just, they just bring me joy. There's that. This is a peperomia. What were you? Peperomia. What's it called? Angulata diamond. I'm going to get rid of it. I do like this plant a lot. I don't know how easy it would be for me to replace it. I actually have not seen one of these in a store for a long time. It's probably just because they're not popular at the moment, but I'm sure like I could, if I shopped around, I could probably find one. But I will rehome that. It's a really cool plant. And back here we have one that Madeline gave me. I can't remember what these are called, but they do that thing where they grow little baby versions of themselves. And I've been letting it sort of do its thing down here. I did lose a couple. I blame Mum for one. I blame the dog for another, but it's fine. What I might do is see if Madeline wants to take that one back and maybe babysit it for me. I love it. I need to try and like downsize. So the big thing is I really shouldn't have any plants up here or that are too high for Mum to reach because she'll need to be able to water them. So basically I do have a table that I'm going to bring into the room and I'll probably put it in that corner. Also, I'll be able to put some plants on the desk here. So there's that. But yeah, I've got, there's quite a few in here that I'm getting rid of. I'm just now realizing that this video is super long and it's going to have to be a video of its own. It can't just be like a part of a bedroom declutter. Oh my God, I forgot this guy. So this is my philodendron glorious. And yes, it is glorious. My God, I love this plant. Right now, it is growing out of its space. It loves this spot. It loves this spot so much. I repotted it and I put it on a pole when it was about, where was it? It was this leaf. I tore this leaf. You guys, I think I showed it in a vlog with my stupid long nails. They're gone. Maybe there is an upside to not having long nails. Anyway, I repotted it. I made a little like 3-stick style pole in like, like a teepee style. So you can see they're like tied up there, just so it had lots of support. And also because this doesn't grow straight up, it sometimes like weaves, and you can see here how it'll grow a little bit all over the place. I did that, and then it was just like, oh, we like it. So this is its most recent leaf. and it's already like creating a new one. This is the only plant that has grown consistently for me all through like, you know, autumn, spring, autumn, spring, and then now up till summer. I have to move it because it's touching the light and the light will burn it. So, and also it's gonna, like, this leaf isn't even finished growing yet. It's still got more growing to do, so I have to move it. No, don't touch the light. No, don't go towards the light. Since I'm going to turn this into its own video, I'll give you guys a little bit of an overview of what's happening here. I'm going to take these guys out now. This is what the cabinet's looking like. Up there. Oh, this baby. These guys here. Yeah, here. And then these guys here. And I might take a day or two to, you know, go through here and just actually remove the plants from the space. And I'll come back and I'll show you how the room's looking. And I will also think long and hard about whether I want to quarantine some of these plants. So as I mentioned, it's been weeks since I filmed that. And so I had, you know, I'm having anxiety about leaving my plants behind. I fucking love my plants. I love my plants. I love my collection. There are some true treasures in my plant collection. And I was going to try and see if I could have them quarantined and shipped over to WA. So I did some research and I found out that they are not accepting any plants from Victoria because apparently there is some sort of potato blight or something and they just don't risk it. So taking my plants is absolutely 100% not an option at all and may not be for a very long time. So I was like, well, problem solved then. So I decluttered a lot of plants and look, my life is an absolute mess right now. I am in the throes of moving, so everything is a mess. I'm going to take you very quickly over what I still have. So, you know, you just saw the footage that I showed you and you're going to see a little bit of footage now showing you what I have left over. Let's start with the cabinet. So all of the beautiful babies are still up there. They need to be moved down to my pigsty desk when I clean off my pigsty desk. Oh my God, just like the list is as long as my arm. Can you see? Can you see how long it is? And it just keeps growing. So here's what I've kept in the thing. I'm not going to go through every plant individually. I've got plants that are needing trim. Oh, see, I need to spend like an hour in here trimming back all of the plants before I go. I also have to write a list of like care for mum to take care of them. She doesn't want to kill any of them. So I've kept these guys here. This one was up here and I moved it. Here on my bookshelf, this is what I've got left. Just the real, like the treasures, some babies down here. These guys, I'm going to pot them up before I go, but I think they're too young. My Warocquianum, which is going through an absolute growth spurt and is beautiful. My Amphioxus, it's a begonia. It's a rare begonia. That little guy is loving life, and I did have this in an egg, but it had a growth spurt. And the thing about this is it'll do fine in the cabinet over summer, but once winter hits, it will absolutely lose its mind. It will start to die and it'll have to go back in an egg. This is all I've kept in my window, which is, you know, a manageable amount. And then I have my Splendid, which I've put in the lounge room because it outgrew the spot that it was in. It has outgrown its pole. It is just outgrowing life itself, apparently. But I love it. It's so beautiful. Like, look at it. Just stupid quarantine rules. I want to take it with me, but I can't. So Mummy's going to look after the plants. Fingers crossed everything goes well. But that is what I'm left with. I have downsized, probably not enough, but you know, it's so easy to be like, I'll just get rid of stuff. But it's kind of like, it's also part of your life, and it's hard to let go sometimes. And I find like incremental decluttering is so much easier than being like, oh, I'm moving interstate, so let's just get rid of 90% of what I own. It's kind of like, it's just a lot. Anyone who's done like a big move, I'm sure you get it. But yeah, so I'm going to leave that there, guys, because I've still got more work to do. So I hope you enjoyed the plant update, at least. And yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I was going to say, oh, I'm sure I'll buy more plants when I get to Perth, but I'm not taking on any responsibility for as long as I possibly can when I get to Perth. So I think plants can wait. All right, guys. So I'll see you, in the next one, whatever the next one is. I don't know, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you then. Bye.